What's up everyone, this is Dan at Rogue Studios, and today I just want to make a short video about these VFC HK416 A5 stocks. These stocks are super nice. They're a lot slimmer, they're a lot more lower profile than the old school stocks, which is really chunky. This is basically like a crane stock with weird sling points at the back and a very weird butt pad that's very uncomfortable. I absolutely hated this thing. So that's the reason why I decided to pick up this stock. But there's one thing that I could not figure out just by looking at pictures, which is what can you actually store in here? Is because if you're running this on a GBB, you don't have to worry about anything. But if you're running this for a HPA setup or an AEG setup, what can you do with this little storage space over here? So let me just quickly show you. To remove the butt pad, what you do is that you pull this little thing at the bottom, and then the butt pad will just slide off. Now, at the back over here, in my experience, it will not fit the LiPo batteries that we normally use to power our AEGs. It won't fit. I've tried using a 7.4 1300 milliamp hour. Doesn't fit. So basically, you're stuck with using the old school method of using the buffer tube to hide your mini LiPo battery for your AEG. However, if you're using this for HPA, what you can fit in here is that you can fit a few CR123 batteries in here, in case if you need it for your flashlight or whatever. I would put some electrical tape or masking tape to prevent them from bouncing around your stock. Or you can use it to fit a 1100 milliamp hour battery for your FCU. So my FCU is all in here right now with the battery plug right here. And basically all you do is just put the battery and it slots in perfectly. Takes a bit of effort, but it basically slots in there. Cable manage your wires a bit, just plug in your battery. I'm not going to plug it in right now, but because you can see that it easily fits everything in here. And you can easily close the butt pad. Just make sure you don't pinch the wires. And that's your HPA setup for your HK416. I know this is a HK416D. I know it's not the right stock. I know it's not the right trigger, but man, this stock is so much nicer. I'm so glad I got this. The unfortunate thing though is that these stocks are quite expensive, even though they're made by VFC, by an Airsoft company. These are $60 US, which is. You can buy a real steel MOE stock, I think, for $50 US. I can't quite remember. I might be wrong about that. And I believe the SLK stocks are also pretty cheap. But if you want the HK look, if you want a stock that is somewhat useful, particularly for HPA, this stock might be a pretty good choice. Another thing that's worth noting is that the stock will wobble a bit. So I put duct tape on my buffer tube to take out the slack. So there's no longer any wobble on my stock. And the last thing that's worth noting is that if you want to use a big battery, a 1100 milliamp hour battery for your FCU like me, you can no longer adjust the stock because the tab will partially go into the area where you put your battery. So I cannot pull the tab anymore. I cannot adjust the stock. But after I adjust my length of pull, I normally don't adjust it anymore anyways. So I'm fine with this setup. I just thought that was worth making a short video about, is because I really wanted to know what you can put in here. The most useful thing I can think of is for HPA users, because it actually looks good and it's functional for HPA users. But for AEG users, it's not particularly useful. Man, that's just so much better looking. By the way, they also make the VFC also makes the pistol grip for the AEG. The color of it, as you guys can see, it's sort of like a coyote brown. If you buy the tan ones and the black stock, exactly the same price. But I was not aware that the stock would look this brown. It is not tan or anything like that. I know H&K uses a funny color for their tan or coyote brown HK416 or whatever people call it. RA something, whatever the color is called. It has a funny, dark, healthy poop color, if I can describe it that way. It looks good. It's just not my cup of tea. Which reminds me, if you guys want this stuff, let me know. It's because now I have the stock and a grip that's been modified for HBA. I modified this area is because I have an amped Airsoft IGL. So I just widened the entrance a little bit. So this is now for HBA only. If you guys want it, let me know. Anyways, peace guys. Happy shooting. I'm gonna fly out soon.